Talk show hosts from across the country are speaking out in my defense about the tyranny of the British Home Office decision to ban Michael Savage from their wonderful nation, grouping me with known terrorists and murderers. Can you believe this? Well, joining us is one of those talk show hosts, Joyce Kaufman, who has a show in Florida on WFTL, and she is one of the most important of those speaking out.
Thank you, Michael. And I just have to tell you that I'm a pretty reasonable person. I don't subscribe to a whole bunch of conspiracy theories that people talk about to strike fear in the hearts of the patriotic American. But I have studied world history like you have. And more importantly, we both studied American history. And as paid political commentators with our own daily talk radio programs, the news came down yesterday that you had been banned from Great Britain. And I had, instead of a tingle up my leg like Chris Matthews over Obama, I had a chill, a shudder run down my spine. And I'll tell you why. Even though in many ways you're joining the likes of the Honorable Geert Wilders, the Dutch parliamentarian that's been banned from Britain, also by this crazy Home Secretary Jackie Smith, a man who is on the verge, really, if there were an election today, he would be elected the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. He's on the list. You're on the list with racists, though, and murderers and radical Islamic terrorists. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think we're allowed to call them that anymore, Michael, are we? We have to say man-caused disasters of the Islamic variety. How did we get to this point? Michael, how did two great Western civilizations, the United Kingdom and the United States, find themselves in a position of questioning John Locke's brilliance, the ideals that Great Britain has always put forward in the Magna Carta, and, of course, even more important to you and me, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights? Are we supposed to just trash it? I'm really not sure. You know, yesterday when the UK's Home Secretary Jackie Smith released that list, which of course there are 6 missing names on, and we only can guess who's on that list, probably every radical imam that you and I talk about all the time and offend everybody over, but you're on that list. And that's pretty scary. On Thursday, tomorrow, there's going to be a Federal Advisory Committee Act where an advisory committee on diversity for communications in the digital age is going to convene, and their purpose is to dismantle conservative talk radio. That's its whole purpose, Michael. It's to control programming content, a sort of backdoor fairness doctrine. So when you think about it, May 2009 may go down in history as the month that free speech died. That is, of course, unless we take a stand. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution is the part of the Bill of Rights that expressly prohibits the Congress from making laws that respect an establishment of religion, that prohibit the free exercise of religion, that infringe the freedom of speech, that infringe the freedom of the press, that limit the right to peaceably assemble, or limit the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, let's face it, Michael, the First Amendment, if not dead, is certainly taking a beating. We cannot call ourselves a Judeo-Christian nation anymore. Our president went abroad, stood in a Muslim country to say that we were no longer to be called a Judeo-Christian nation. So much for respecting the establishment of religion.
Exactly.
We can't speak without fear of national or even international censure now and sanction like you've experienced. The Fourth Estate has become the president's cheerleaders rather than his inquisitors, so you can forget the freedom of speech part. And when 500,000 patriots or more gather together in a mock American Tea Party, they get ignored, they get marginalized by the very government that they're attempting to petition for a redress of their grievances. Again, Michael, how did we get to this point, and what do we do now? You're taking a stand, and you're standing alone on the wall. You have fought these battles before, on the air, in the courts, and certainly in the court of public opinion. I think every patriot needs to join you on the wall this time. These are the times that separate the men from the boys and the women from the boys as well. When the Patrick Henrys and the Molly Pitchers need to get up off their butts and get up on the wall with you. You know, there's a great scene at the end of Stanley Kubrick's movie Spartacus when the Roman legion asks the revolting slaves to turn over the man or the body of their leader. And one by one, the gladiators rise to their feet and say, "I am Spartacus." They stood side by side and refused to hand him over to the tyrannical oppressors. Well, the time has come for us to do that, Michael. Michael, to stand up to Great Britain, stand up to the mainstream media, stand up to the FCC, and stand up to President Obama and the Congress. Without the First Amendment, you can kiss the Second Amendment goodbye. And without your guns, you can just tear up the Bill of Rights. All I know is, not on my watch, not in my country. So today I'm asking my listeners to stand up with me, shoulder to shoulder, and proclaim loudly at the top of their voices, I am Savage. So Dr. Savage, thank you for having me on, and remember, we're on the wall with you.
Thanks, Joyce. This is our time to speak out and defend our right to free speech before it is taken away from us. This is the Savage Nation.
All the stories have been told of kings in days of old, but there's no England now. All the wars that were won or lost somehow don't seem to matter very much anymore. All the lies we were told.
I'm Michael Savage. We'll be right back.
The people running around their castles of
Savage.